I'm James Nave. I'm on a beach in the Philippines, and it's nighttime. Some lights are shining down from the hotel where I'm staying, and you can hear the waves lapping the shore. I looked out onto the dark night and thought, what a great place to perform The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I know it's not a setting that you would expect to hear The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, and yet I thought how interesting it would be to present this, to perform it, to explore The Raven on a beach. And The Raven is about somebody in deep grief over the loss of someone who died. And the grief just keeps getting deeper and deeper as the poem continues on. It's very rhymey, but you don't have to tell it with all the rhymes punched. It can be with the rhymes, yet can skirt over them a bit. So I'd like to offer you The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe from a beach in the Philippines, about an hour, 2 hours maybe, a little more outside of Manila, northwest. So here it is, The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, as I pondered, weak and weary over many a curious volume of forgotten lore, as I nodded. I was nearly napping. Suddenly, there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I uttered. "Tapping at my chamber door, this it is, nothing more." Ah, distinctly, I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me. It filled me with fantastic terrors I'd never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, it's nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is, I was napping, and so faintly you came tapping, and so gently you came rapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, nothing more. Deep into the darkness, peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the stillness was unbroken, and the silence gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo answered back the word, "Lenore." Merely this, it was nothing more. Back into my chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, it's nothing more." Open here, I flung the shutters, And with many a flirt and flutter in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore, not the least obeisance made he, not a moment stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched and sat upon the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat and nothing more. Then the ebony bird, beguiling all my fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance he wore. Although thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, said I, art sure no craven, ancient grim and ghastly raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, Nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly. But its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing, no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on that placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, until I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, Nevermore. Startled by the stillness, broken by reply so aptly spoken. Doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one melancholy burden bore, till the dirges of his hope one melancholy burden bore of nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door, and then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking, what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking Nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining which the lamplight gloated o'er, on whose velvet violet lining which the lamplight gloated o'er, she shall press nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath sent thee respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget the lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil, whether tempter sent or tempest toss thee here ashore on this desert land enchanted, on this home thy horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within some distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Take thy beak from out my heart and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the sculptured bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming cast a shadow on the floor, and my soul within that shadow, which lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore.